It is a massive clash for your Thursday night as an FFA Cup campaign spanning over 250 days for the Gold Coast Knights finally continues as they take on A-League opposition in the form of the Melbourne Victory here in round of 16 of the FFA Cup. As a new man in charge for the Gold Coast Knights with former Socceroo and one of Network 10's own Scott McDonald now at the wheel after what can only be described as a tumultuous campaign for the men in red and white, finishing 7 points away from finals in 6th position in the Queensland National Premier League. It's the start of a new dawn at the Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre as Scott McDonald takes over in his first game as head coach of the Knights. And what can only be described as a trial by fire, they take on the current competition leaders of the Isuzu Ute A-League, Melbourne Victory. And what a packed crowd it is here today at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre. The Knights will be fired up to take on A-League opposition for the second time ever in the Cup after going down 1-0 in the hands of the Newcastle Jets in the last edition of the Cup in the round of 32. With this, the Knights' first appearance in the round of 16, they'll be riding high and full of confidence after not conceding a goal throughout their entire Cup run this year. Nevertheless, it will be a monumental challenge for Scott McDonald's side. There will be a whole host of changes for the home side, and we'll have a look at how they line up in just a moment. Alongside me today, Nick Meredith. Massive clash, and what an occasion it is here for the Knights.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Look, it's a great roll-up. We've got a tremendous crowd in. It's a super venue, this little NPL ground here. As you said, the Croatian Sports Centre. Now, Tony Popovic, a very proud Croatian, so he'll certainly be wanting to make a, he don't want to have a banana skin here. He'll have a lot of personal pride in the Melbourne Victory's performance.
4 new players start in Scott McDonald's first game. Jai Ingham, chief among them. He'll be facing his former side with plenty to prove after a mostly unsuccessful stint overseas. Former Newcastle Jet Christian Bramora also helps him lead the line alongside Kai Tapaldo. The former Socceroo Mitch Nichols wears the captain's armband following the departure of club captain Roman Hoffman. Former Raw and Wellington forward Mirza Maradovic lines up on the bench with the shock inclusion of his gaffer as well. Only time will tell if the former Socceroo and Celtic star Scott McDonald will lace up the boots for this one. He may have to wait for the second half. However, as for the Victory, veteran Lee Broxham leads a very Victory side with a blend of youth and experience. Queensland local Robbie Cruz stars in this one as well. A man born just a stone's throw away in Benoa. Leighton Brooks starts as he looks to continue his impressive Cup run. Was only born 9 minutes drive away from Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre. And a man familiar with the Sunshine State, and Jared Tyson also adds his veteran quality in defence as he starts in between the sticks. Our officiating crew for this evening's game, Chris Beath, leads the team. Assistants Andrew Lindsay, Misak Park and Alex King. A local here as well, only living in Tweed, just a short drive down the road, and an absolutely packed gallery here today. Plenty of Melbourne Victory fans as well, Nick Meredith.
Yeah, some Victory people have come up. Gold Coast always a popular destination this time of year, but there's a lot of locals that have come out as well. You can see that, and for those that don't know, this is a very ambitious club. They've got a lot of money behind them, well-resourced, so they're an ambitious club with, looking to go perhaps beyond the NPL down the track. And in Scott McDonald, they've got a very ambitious coach as well. This is his first real test as a senior men's coach, so he'll want to impress. So a lot on the line in this, and Melbourne Victory have picked a fairly young squad. They've got a little bit of experience in there, but Gold Coast will go in this with a bit of confidence. They've added a lot to their squad. As you said, there's 5 changes from their last game, and all the people that have come in have added quality to their lineup, so they'll give themselves a real chance here.
New players: Christian Bramora, Jai Ingham, Tyson Martin, Daniel De Silva, so coming from all over the country, from Victoria, northern New South Wales, some local ones in there as well. Some on the bench as well, and you're absolutely right. Obviously, we know Scott McDonald, plenty of playing experience in his time. And his first matchup as a head coach, we see him there. He has the boots on. Really get to use them in this game.
Well, the first thing he's done is tell us a fib on his team sheet, because it's certainly not the lineup, the way they're setting up, the way he told us. It's clearly going to be a back 5. with the 3 in the middle there. So there's no doubt that they're going to... I think they might be a little bit conservative early, make sure they just get themselves into the game. They haven't had competitive games, so that's a big disadvantage for them.
As the Victory fans vocal, we are underway here at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre as Gold Coast Knights host the Melbourne Victory. Robbie Cruz on the ball early, but dispossessed by Kai Tapaldo, the former Brisbane Roar youth player. And real talent for the Knights. All right, it does look like a back 5 at the moment. Janiel Da Silva sitting at the centre of a back 3 with Austin Ludwig, Tyson Martin on either side, and Jaden Walker and Matthew Schmidt, who've been really standout fullbacks in the NPL Queensland competition over the past 2 to 3 seasons, and before that as well. They line up as wingbacks, and it looks as if Scott McDonald will be looking to use their attacking skills as well.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It is a back 5, as we said, but the fullbacks are pushing on, as you can see there, up near the halfway line very quickly. So they're not being ultra-conservative.
As Broxham under a little bit of pressure there from the new signing, Bramora. Spent some time with Newcastle Jets, made 1 A-League appearance for them. Spent some time overseas as well. Tapaldo, Brown. Certainly one to watch is the number 10 for the Knights, and the number 10 for the Victory. We know what he can do in Robbie Cruz. Tyson Martin, another one of those new signings. Unable to track that one down, coming over from Brisbane City. Mitch Nichols, former Socceroo, giving it away here and opening things up. Curter dinking over the target there. It was a good ball in from Laurie Latanzeo.
Yeah, clever bit of play there by the Victory. That's one thing Gold Coast can't afford to do. We've seen it when the NPL clubs come up against the A-League. Just a little bit of added pressure that they apply to them. You've got to play under a higher intensity, and you just can't afford to turn the ball over in your own third like that. Because a team like Victory, they'll just be all over that all night.
And if you are the Melbourne Victory, how do you approach this? You're leading the top of the A-League. You'll be coming in to face an NPL side. Obviously, they're not going to take it too relaxed or casually. But how do you approach it, especially coming up north as well?
Well, look, probably 8 of this team, 7 or 8 of this team aren't regular A-League players, so they've got a whole lot to play for. And that's probably a lot of Tony Popovich's thinking as well. It's a chance for his players to have a rest. Their A-League team hasn't got a game coming up with the postponement, but look, for a lot of these guys, they're on a national stage. They're young players trying to make their way. Robbie Cruz needs game time, so it's important to him. Probably no prouder Melbourne Victory player than Lee Broxham, so having him in the team, he'll certainly set a high standard. And man on the ball there, Stefan Negro, you know, he's pushing for a regular starting spot, so he's picked a team with a lot to prove.
Obviously, this game was scheduled to be played about a week ago, but due to COVID protocols, pushed back to the 30th. Right before New Year's, there's a chance here for the Victory. Dealt with well for the moment by the Knights. Ingham. And he'll be a real superstar, bringing to the NPL Queensland competition here for the Knights, that's for sure. You know what he can do. He faces his former side today. Barnett. Negro with the overlap. Over the top here. Jaden Walker with a deft touch and able to play forward. Kai Tapaldo here. Fools Curter and opts for the switch towards Ingham. If he can track it down just a little bit ahead of him and skipped on.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was a really nice bit of play. Composed defending in the box, nice ball out. Confidence from Tapaldo to take the player on. And I'm a bit surprised John Ingham's out there on the left, actually. He's normally known as a right-sided player. And he's one, I got to say, and I don't like saying it, just looks a little bit short of fitness to me, so we'll see how he goes throughout this game. I don't know how much football he's played.
Obviously, he spent some time overseas, didn't really play too much, came back due to COVID, and has really just been doing his day job in the past few months. Did sign with the Knights a while back, only announced recently, but you're right, only time will tell how fit he truly is. He closes down Stefan Negro. Laurie Latanzio into the box. It was Leighton Brooks, if you don't mind, the local boy. Josh Langdon there, a very talented keeper. Spent some time with Perth Glory in their National Youth League setup. Some able to clear. Schmidt. You often see from the Knights fullbacks pushing wide and high as we do today. And a more defensive setup than we're used to seeing from Gold Coast. Scott McDonald implementing his own system. Victory just patient. Obviously, they got the win on penalties against Perth Glory a few weeks ago before taking out Adelaide City late on in the round of 32 to advance to this round of 16 fixture. Lovely lead by Brooks and Cruz on the end of that one. Now inside, Laurie Latanzio just putting it wide.
That's excellent lead-up play from Victory. They're getting a bit of joy down that left-hand side of the Gold Coast Knights. Robbie Cruz, as he does, always making intelligent runs in behind defenders. It's much maligned, Robbie Cruz, but I think he's been one of our best players of the last decade, the last generation of Socceroos. And look, it's only a matter of time till it gets himself fit. He's back in the regular in the Melbourne Victory lineup. He's just a very clever player in that attacking third.
Pride his trade overseas in Germany, famously, as the ball in now, headed away. Barnett tracking it down, and promising young player himself. Former Brisbane Roar player as well. Made his debut for the Roar against Western Sydney Wanderers at Suncorp. Here's Jacques. In at left back here, as it seems. Roxham, the Swiss Army knife over the top. Da Silva getting ridden. One of the goal scorers from the Knights' last game in the Cup against Edgehill United. Got one right at the end. Dante Mariner, not with the Knights anymore, but is here at the ground, supporting his former side. Nephew of Tim Cahill as well. Ingham dispossessed well there in the end, and the Victory looking to spring a counter-attack here is won well by Valupale. Brooks. And a lovely reverse pass to Cruz. Brooks scored a long-range one against Glory to open things up in their last, I should say, Cup game before last. Right it off there as the foul is given. Listen to Shaq. To restart things for the Victory. We've only seen one Cup set this year in this edition of the Cup. Arpia Leichhardt getting up over Western Sydney Wanderers, and what a game that was. Gold Coast Knights will be looking at that, saying, why can't we do the same?
Yeah, absolutely. They'll give themselves a red-hot chance of winning this. As you say, they've added a lot of players to the squad. They've got some confidence about them, talking to Scott McDonald, and they know this is not Victory's, #1 lineup, so they'll give themselves a real chance.
We'll go out for a throw-in. Good travelling support from the Victory. Arguably the most fans you've seen at Croatian Sports Centre in a very long time. No bigger occasion for them than the round of 16 in the FFA Cup. Lovely move here for the visitors. Cruz opens things up, winds up, blocked well by Brown, and Leighton Brooks able to collect on the left here. Going himself, putting it all the way across. Laurie Latanzio able to get onto the end of it. Reset things for the victory. Curda inside, gets it back. Ordered his feet a little bit there. Foul given away there.
Yeah, it was unnecessary foul. Like plenty of people behind the ball there, Gold Coast. They're certainly getting numbers back. They're going to make it difficult for Victory to play through them. Just a silly little foul there. It wasn't needed.
Have a look at the replay there. Curda, Max Brown around him, and Kai Tapaldo giving it away in the end. Those nerves kicking in.
I mean, there's very little in it. He didn't do much, but you've just got to be so careful around that edge of your box, particularly when you've got numbers back and you're well organised. Just keep them in front of you and slowly start to push out.
And this is a brilliant spot. If you're the Victory, can't really ask for much more than that. Curda, Broxham standing over it.
It's certainly going to be Curda, I think, the way they're lining up. So a player with a lot of potential. Let's see what he's got.
Curda with the right. Through the grassroots pathways. And now faces the grassroots side and a packed wall. Josh Langdon behind. Curda striking over the target. Langdon leapt, but unnecessary in the end.
Yeah, he hit it well. He just didn't get that dip. When he hit it, I thought this is a real chance. It just didn't dip till a little bit too late, but clear to see what he's trying to do. He's trying to put that in the top left-hand corner, and he hit it well. Yeah, I thought when he hit it, I thought they're in a bit of trouble here, but he just didn't get that dip at the end of it.
Certainly not a bad effort. Rangefinder, perhaps. Sloppy clearance from the goal kick. Brown winning it back well. Nichols struggling to get into the game early. Is the former Socceroo. Tapaldo dropping deep, has won a few balls in the midfield as the forward, and it will be a Knights throw in as Tony Popovich just hands it to Matthew Schmidt, the left wing back. A talented one, that's for sure. Got to train with the Wellington Phoenix. Well, they're at a training camp at Royal Pines nearby. Back in 2019 when Knights won the championship. Is Brown able to clear it in the end. Another victory. Tyson Martin, an interesting signing for the Knights, coming up from FQPL with Brisbane City. Well won.
Yeah, he's an interesting signing. He was very well touted as a younger player and had a promising start to his career, but it's really stalled for the best part of 2 years now. So a new chance for him. Let's see what he can do with his opportunity here at the Knights.
Tyson Martin, former Raw National Youth League player, able to clear that one there. As you see him on screen. Didn't play a whole lot of football last season for Brisbane City. Obviously coached by Matt Smith. Plays in the side as well. Part of their promotion campaign, scored in the grand final on AJ Kelly Park up on the peninsula. And now a chance for the Knights. Nichols, Brown, he can hit them, puts it out wide for Schmidt as the rain comes down now, and the strike from Tapaldo blocked in the end, but it was promising from Scott McDonald's side. Yeah, their best passage of play. That's what they need to do. They get the ball out wide, and an excellent first-time ball in from Schmidt. I wasn't sure what he was going to do here, but he's trusted his left foot, and I thought that was goal bound. I think it certainly was until that foot came out. So that's their best opportunity, and these little things build confidence. You go on, we're best part of 15 minutes in now, and they must be thinking, okay, we're not out of our depth. So the longer it goes, the more confident Gold Coast will become. Lovely first-time connection from Kai Tapaldo, the former Raw Youth and Newcastle Jets youth player, as Brown arriving on the edge, striking, blocked well Cruz looking to counter-attack, and Max Brown giving away the foul.
I think we've got an offside off the corner. Looks that way. The assistant's got the flag up, so they must have got the Gold Coast for an offside.
Certainly does. Play on from Chris Beath. After the reset. Now a chance. Nichols. Met well. Behind the victory. Barnett getting some attention. So Mitch Nichols has really been the star of this Knights team over the past few years. A-League journeyman Ludwig heading that one away. Joined Knights after playing in the US college system. Joined partway through last season. Right before their derby with Gold Coast United. The local FFA rivalry there. Another pre-rivalry signing, pre-derby signing, I should say, was Mitch Nichols back in 2019. And a track record with it here at Croatian. Ludwig, an NPL All-Star this season. Ingham. Lovely ball from Brown. Schmidt back inside. Kurda able to read it, and Bramora dispossessed, but get a chance here through Walker. The fullback to deliver to the back post. Schmidt gets a touch on it back inside, and Barnett able to head it away. Able to clear.
Another good passage from the Knights. Every time they get out on their left-hand side, they seem to be getting some good traction. Smith he's an excellent player. His delivery into the box is normally fairly good. As long as they can keep getting these wide players involved. We did say they've lined up as a back five, but he's certainly pushing these fullbacks on the wide part of that back five. So it's certainly not a negative lineup. It's very positive the way they're going about it.
Absolutely. Walker and Schmidt, mentioned it before, the premier fullbacks in the competition, certainly in an attacking sense. Love to bomb up the flanks. Good delivery as well. Walker able to keep it in play, but Martin giving away possession for Lupale, able to win it back to Silva. Recently joined Knights. Coming up from Victoria for work. Spent time in the Victorian NPL. Brazilian centre half, Negro. Panchu in the back four as well, wearing the number 37. And what a turnaround it's been for Melbourne victory after what was I think fair to say, very disappointing campaign last year. And Cruz with the strike, not challenging Josh Langdon. Tony Popovich effect in full swing as we have a look at the replay here. Cruz able to get a toe on it.
Yeah, he's continually making those runs. He's not necessarily playing off a defender's shoulder, as we used to say. He's just making those runs in between the centre halves, and he's very difficult to pick up, Robbie. He almost goes where you don't think he's going to go.
Ingham. Ball out wide for Schmidt. First time delivery to Powder, leaping like a salmon, and unable to connect. And the rain has started to come down. Still light though. Hasn't scared off any supporters, any spectators. Kurda under pressure. His grandfather helped found Hume City FC. Nichols. Walker. Inside and headed away by Ishak. Kurda did start his career at Hume City as well, coming through there as a junior, as well as Essendon Royals and Whittlesea Rangers. before making his Melbourne Victory youth debut at 15 years of age. Now a 19-year-old. Ingham, good delivery, headed away by Barnett Brown. Getting the calls of shoot, delivers, headed away by Nichols. The ball he was after. Nichols now with the captain's armband, just struggling a little bit to get into the rhythm of the game. Obviously the NPL has been finished up here in Queensland for a few months now, I would say. About a month or so. And obviously with Knights not making finals, even longer for them. Cruz went to school in Brisbane, just an hour's away at Kelvin Grove State High. Velupale.
You know where, Broxham?
Martin down the line. More pressing hard on Lepanchu. Leighton Brooks fouled there by Ingham. Leighton Brooks impressing once again. Lovely bit of footwork here. Get himself out of danger and tardy challenge.
Yeah, he's got clever feet, Leighton Brooks. We've seen it a few times now. He's very comfortable on the ball. Jai Ingham just a little. It was not much in it. It's a foul and play on.
Ball out of play there. Leighton Brooks, former Brisbane Strikers player, much like the man alongside me, Nick Meredith.
Yeah, look, he's had an interesting career. He's obviously a very talented young guy. There's a lot of guys in this Melbourne Victory lineup tonight. Talk about Curto and that. They're getting to the age now where they really have to take the next step. As you said, they've been in the system for a long time now. They're at professional clubs, and you can only do that for so long. Sooner or later, you've got to force your way into the top squad or you move on.
Cruz striking, just going wide, but a good effort from the former Socceroo there.
A lot of these guys, they'll see there's an opportunity. This is Robbie Cruz on the ball here, and didn't score a whole lot from long range. Robbie, he's very clever and around the box, but certainly worth an effort from there. And with that little bit of rain on the surface, it's going to skid on nicely. So no problem at all having a shot there. Some of these young guys, I mean, they've been at Melbourne Victory now, some of them 3-4 years, and after a while, if you don't force your way into that first team squad, then the club will move you on and they'll bring another generation through. So these players out here tonight, there's a whole lot on the line, for a lot of them. So it's a really important night for many of the guys out there.
There's plenty of those 19, 20, 21-year-old players. Then you have players in that middle range like Stefan Negro, 25 years old. He's getting on to that point where serviceable A-League player may have to kick on a little bit. Certainly a good squaddy, as they're known.
One of the problems in the game here is we do move on from players too quickly. If someone hasn't made a breakthrough at 16 or 17, they almost get moved out of the system, and that's wasting talent. But you also, when you're in the system, you have to show that you're worthwhile investing into more. You bring more players into the system. Nothing wrong with bringing a 23-year-old into the system if you think they're going to be good enough.
I've certainly seen that as of late up here in Queensland and throughout the country, as Jaden Walker fouled in the end by Ishak.
Work him out, Broxham. He's a nowhere like you.
Have a look at the replay. Just going around the outside and shot down. Lovely switch. Tony Popovic up on his feet, urging his side on. 24 minutes gone. Elvis Camsoba, a good example of a mature-aged player coming in from the NPL pathway.
Yeah, it is. I don't like to talk about other codes too much, but AFL have probably shown us the way in that they've brought in mature-aged players who've really added to squads, and that's something I don't think the A-League's done a good enough job of. And the NPL competition is getting incrementally stronger every year.
Brooks. Cruz running on for him. Brooks with the strike. Just dragging wide, and a carbon copy of Robbie Cruz's strike from a few moments earlier.
Yeah, nothing wrong with him having a try. His goalkeeper was always confident was going wide. But yeah, look, not a lot on. Possibly could have played Robbie Cruz in behind, but saw the opportunity for a shot. I'd always be looking for Robbie because he's always making that run in behind the defender. So he's always available in those sort of situations.
You mentioned just before a little bit of rain earlier today, just light, and honestly briefly just before during the game. It will skid on a little bit here at Croatian Sports Centre.
Yeah, that would make the surface even better. So there's a few patchy bits on this ground, but a little bit of rain on it's ideal.
Some renovation here at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre as well, with new lights being fitted. Explaining some of the patches as Brooks just going over the top there, and the home support letting him know about it a little bit there. Well won by Tapaldo in the air, the ball from Langdon. Certainly been one of the superstar keepers here in Queensland of recent years in the NPL. Lovely ball in from Schmidt, asking for a foul and given by Chris Beath. Just caught by Stefan Negro, I believe. So Josh Langdon as well, the local boy, as we have a look here on the replay, just coming across the leg there.
Yeah, he did very well, Smith. His first touch was good under pressure, and Negro was a bit late, but Smith, who we talked about quite a bit, he's been very impressive so far. He's one that, you know, has his opportunity passed him by. I'm not sure. Does he keep working at it? You said he had an opportunity trialling with Wellington a couple of years ago. You know, you just need more and more of these opportunities for these young players.
He's also on the verge of a breakthrough with the Brisbane Roar back in 2015. When he was part of their system. Hasn't broken through. He's certainly putting himself in the shop window today as nice to deliver through Ingham. Back post, head in, and it's a goal! Kai Tapaldo. And Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre erupts. Unbelievable. See how much it means to him. Do we have a cup set on our hands? Just about 30 minutes gone. That is passion.
Well, we've certainly got a game on our hands. I don't know if it's a cup set yet, but look, he's been very impressive so far. Tapaldo, I think he's looked the most likely of the front players. Certainly got a lot of self-belief about him. You can see in that he's not overawed at all, and he's done really well there. He's climbed well. Met that header perfectly. I'm not so sure Jared Tyson shouldn't be coming out and competing for that, but that's an excellent finish.
We're just talking about putting yourself in the shop window. That's about just as good as it gets from Kai Tapaldo. He's one of those players. Came through with the Raw. Before going down to Newcastle and then coming back to Queensland. Played his junior football here with the Knights, returning. Scored 13 goals in 23 games for the Raw Youth in 2020, fifth best in the league that season. Player with a lot of self-belief, that's for sure. Still in his early 20s.
Well, he certainly attacked that ball like he wanted it. He climbed virtually over his own player. And once that ball was in the air, he was the only one that really, to me, looked like he committed to it. Look, you shouldn't be conceding goals from set pieces if you're an A-League team. I mean, they work on this all the time. Perhaps some of their young players got exposed a little bit there, but look, it's a fantastic finish from him. And as you said, it's game on now for sure.
Tapaldo is He has played wide over the past year, and he is playing wide today, playing on the right wing. Bit of an unorthodox winger. Very vertically strong. Good in the air, as we see, obviously off the corner.
Yeah, look,
him win a few early as well.
He's a threat in any position up front. I mean, you could play him across that front line at all. He moves well, he's got a good touch, and he's happy to take players on from what we've seen. So.
Only growing confidence. Scoring against A-League opposition as Bora closing down Jared Tyson. Almost winning it. Jared Tyson spent some time up here in Queensland, obviously. Came up at Maroochydore on the Sunshine Coast before attending the AIS, and eventually with Gold Coast United. Brown winning that one well. Ingham opens himself up for it. Had options on the other side. Walker dinking it over the top. Header won by Bramora and over the target. Jai Ingham getting a little bit tripped up there.
He has, but he's done well, Jai Ingham, in the last 10, 15 minutes. Every time he's been on the ball, he's looked to play players in and be creative. They've had a really good 10 or 15 minutes here, the Gold Coast Knights, and this is where you want to see from the victory who stands up and imposes themselves from their side of things.
Foul given away by Mitch Nichols there. Just holding on to Robbie Cruz. Mitch Nichols also facing his former side today. Played for just about everyone in the league.
He's got a few former sides.
Yeah.
If you get to the round of 16, Mitch is probably playing against his former side.
Pretty safe saying that. Comes to Mitch Nichols. Obviously Brisbane Roar, Perth Glory, Western Sydney and Wellington as well. There's the victory. And the five-time Socceroo, Barnett. Valupale has the overlap from Ishak. Walker doing really well to get stuck in. Gets the applause from the home side, or the home support, I should say. Have a look here. Gets down, gets his toe on the ball. A lovely challenge. Slippy touch there from Leighton Brooks. Much to the amusement of the Knights crowd. Bramora really applying that high press now. He smells blood here at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre, and the Knights are on a crusade here.
Just back on Mitch Nichols, he was part of that very, very good Raw generation that came through that won championships. And he was a little bit overlooked because you had the Thomas Broishes and the Barishes and that, but when the Raw played well, 9 times out of 10 it was because Mitch Nichols played really well. And he got double-figure goals from midfield and things like that. I think he only got 5 Socceroo caps. I think he had the ability to get much more than that. So I'm sure he's fulfilled, he's enjoyed his career, but I thought he had talent to get even more out of it than what he did.
He's obviously probably on the tail end of a really talented Socceroos generation as well. Obviously, we know how great that side was. Diving in with Schmidt. Brooks able to get around and unable to move things forward, and it is Valupale on that side. Mitch Nichols, a very talented footballer, ball player. Lovely pass by Valupale. The ball in now. Brooks blocked by Walker, and Langdon able to hold on to it. The former Southport School goalkeeper. Also had trials at Crystal Palace when he was in high school, Langdon, but the Knights, lovely ball across. Walker unable to get onto the end of it. Martin coming across his man in Leighton Brooks. The foul is given away.
Yeah, it's a clear foul. He came across and no ball there. He just took the man out. So no, not really a difficult one there from Chris Beath. Robbie Cruz is having a word with him. I think he's basically saying that's 5 or 6 fouls from the Knights now. When are you going to get one of these cards out and maybe put them on notice? And I don't think it's far away. There's been a couple of little holding fouls and little things like that. So I think the next Gold Coast Knight that commits a fairly cheap foul is going to get themselves a yellow card.
The pressure not only building for the victory, but also for referee Chris Beath here on the Gold Coast, here in Carrara. What a dream start for Scott McDonald as a coach, as Da Silva able to block that one. You can't ask for more.
No, I'd be pleased with how they've done. Just on Da Silva, he did very well. That was a difficult ball bounce. Probably 3 or 4 foot in front of him and skidded on. He managed to keep his arms out of the road, which is easier said than done in situations like that. And the first time I've seen him, he looks a decent acquisition for Gold Coast Knights for sure.
Played for Moreland United, Whittlesea Rangers and Oakley Cannons in Victoria. And now on the Gold Coast. Beautiful night. Dyson going long. Over the top of Leighton Brooks, and Knights building a semi-permanent stand / viewing deck on that clubhouse side for this fixture. I'm told they'll be keeping on to it. They were certainly expecting patrons to come in, and that's what they've got. Not many seats around, standing room only by the looks of things. That's exactly what the Cup is all about. Curda cleared by Martin.
Yeah, just on
that time.
Just on that, Campbell. It's what the Cup is all about. But this club have come up from lower divisions. They've invested heavily in their players and their facilities. So they deserve to be on this national stage. They went out because they wanted to host the game here and put up new light towers and things like that. The club has a fairly wealthy benefactor, obviously, but he invests his money. So these are sort of the models that clubs need.
And what they've established is a really clear pathway, I think, or a very clear academy at least. There's some players going to other teams as well, but what they're doing here at Croatian is pretty good. Nichols. Good ball in. Walker met heavily by Ishak, and it stays in play. That is as shoulder to shoulder as they come. Running into a brick wall. Schmidt. Told to go chase it and can't in the end. Shepherded well.
This is a club, obviously, with a deep Croatian heritage, and I've always thought that when Croatian clubs are going well in the grassroots level, that Australian football's better off. So many of our great Socceroos are from Croatian heritage. You've looked at Sydney United, Melbourne, Croatia, Gold Coast Knights here. They just keep churning out quality individual players, and it's really important that, you know, they've got their ethnic background and all that. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. They encourage it, but this place is... It's not just a Croatian team, it's got all nationalities in it. So I think they're doing a fantastic job, and I'd like to see more clubs really invest like this one has.
Brooks. Dinking over the top for Cruz. Ludwig winning that one well. Da Silva giving away possession for Lupale here. Has options ahead of him, finds one in Negro. Back inside, headed away by Nichols. Brooks now. Blocked by Walker. Edge of the box cleared by Brown, to the roaring applause of the home support.
Oh, Brooks just misread that. If he'd have just held his momentum back a bit, he could have come in and volleyed that. He just rushed himself, and that was a good opportunity.
Brown, former Logan Lightning player. Bramora has looked energetic in his opening 40 minutes.
One thing they could improve here, though, is $10 for a large chips. And seriously, I reckon it's about 50 cents a chip. So,
How do you reckon they afforded the new lights, Nick?
well, they got their $10 off me, but they won't get it again.
Brown unable to find a teammate with the searching long ball. And a historic night. The Gold Coast Knights won the championship in 2019, defeating Olympic at Perry Park. As the delivery now, Langdon able to claim.
They've gotten in that position several times, maybe at least half a dozen times now, Melbourne. There's no one making a run towards the near post or beyond that first defender. It makes it really difficult for the guy to pick someone out. There's not a lot of threats in the box. I'm not sure they're getting enough players in the box in those situations.
Are they perhaps lacking a focal point in the side at the moment?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, he's got Margiotta on the bench, who's so far in his short A-League career has showed that he's a more than adequate player. So, you know, he's got him up his sleeve.
There's Walker. Negro heading away. Valupale coming in, as is Ingham. Loose pass there from Barnett. I suspect Margiotta will come on at some point, the Italian forward.
Get him, Nichols. Get him. Come on, boy.
Lovely ball met by Negro, can't make its way out wide to Jai Ingham. Just a little bit quiet so far, but plenty more game ahead of him. Lovely tackle there by Austin Ludwig.
Yeah, he had to make it. He committed himself totally. I wasn't sure when he went lunging in that it was the right thing to do, but he got away with it. He's got to be a bit careful with these sometimes. That's a couple of times Gold Coast players have really lunged in when perhaps they may have been better off just staying on their feet. At
University, Gannon University in Pennsylvania. Foul given away by Bramora on Kurda.
Just on Bramora, he's worked hard. He's playing up front on his own, but he's really working his socks off defensively, pressing and not giving the victory players any time on the ball. And he's really put in a decent shift so far. First time I've seen him, and he certainly looks to be a fairly lively type.
And you wonder if for Bramora, with Mirza Maradovic on the bench, a very talented forward, obviously played with Scott McDonald at the Brisbane Roar. Have they both been given the directive to push hard for 45 to 50 minutes and then perhaps do a like-for-like switch and allow the other to do the same?
Yeah, possible. I'm not so sure. They do look different players. Maradovic is more, I've always seen him as a more in and around the box with clever little touches and plays around there. I don't think he's not going to beat you in a sprint race or anything like that. Whereas Bramora looks physically, he's quite gifted. He's really getting after the ball. So I think they're quite different. Perhaps at time, who knows what Maradovic has done over the last 3 weeks in training. So perhaps he's looking eventually to pair them as a front too. So they've certainly got some options though.
Plenty of attacking talent. Talent in general. Here at the Gold Coast Knights, Kurda victory. Settling back down in this game. Still so much to do.
They're getting a lot of ball in around where you can see on the screen Chris B standing there, about 30, 35 yards out from the Gold Coast Knights goal. And the midfielders are looking up and they really don't have anyone to play to. They don't have anyone to come off and bounce the ball off and then move it on. So if they had maybe a Margiotta out there, they could use him for that sort of role. But at the moment, there's a bit of a sameness about a lot of their players, particularly in that front third.
Diving in that time was Ludwig, and now the ball across. Langdon sticks a toe out, is able to clear it. And there's panic stations for the Knights, but they defend.
Yeah, I'd like to see the replay. It looked like Langdon did ever so well there to just, I think he got a foot on the ball, but once again, down the Gold Coast Knights left-hand side, the right-hand side for victory. That's where they're getting all their joy. The spacing of the Gold Coast Knights defence on that side, I think it's a bit too wide. I'd like to see the fullback in a bit and stop those balls in between the left-sided central defender and the left wing back.
Valupale just found himself In a bit of space. Lovely tackle there by Tapaldo, tracking back. Unable to win it in the end, though. Walker making a challenge. We've spoken highly of Schmidt as Brooks giving away the foul there on Kai Tapaldo, but Jaden Walker certainly sticking his hand up.
Yeah, he's been excellent. Very composed on the ball. He's been under pressure a few times, but hasn't panicked. Out this right-hand side of the field, Gold Coast have done really well. There's him out here, Tapaldo's out here. They've looked a really good combination. So, yeah, I just think on that left-hand side, they're just playing a little bit too far apart, and they're giving that channel for the victory players to run in behind. I mean, that ball that got there, that was probably a 40-yard pass along the ground. Would have liked to see the defender stay on his feet rather than lunge in, but it's still leaving a big channel for them to play that ball into.
.45 minutes gone. We are in stoppage time now for the first half, and a dream start for Scott McDonald and his side. They'll have to hold off for a few more minutes. Broxham winning that one. Cruz, Kerder. Will they be able to hang on the night? Kerder steaming through midfield, and they're able to win it back through Nichols. Dispossessed. Brown out wide for Ingham. And that is halftime here at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre. A fantastic first half for the Gold Coast Knights. They end the half on top of things here at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre. Kai Tapaldo getting that one in the 28th. As we head into the halftime break, Gold Coast Knights 1, Melbourne Victory 0.
Gold Coast Knights 1, Melbourne Victory 0.
That's common. We don't need to.
Well, Gold Coast Knights, 1 goal up at half-time. A massive first half here over Melbourne Victory. Sensational, really dominating the first half throughout. A really great performance from Scott McDonald's side in his first game as we have a look at the first half highlights. Curta dinking it over, not beating Josh Langdon. Nick Meredith, what did you make of the chances throughout the first half and the performances from both teams?
I don't think Melbourne Victory really created what you would call a gilt-edged chance. They had a couple of half chances. They had the free kick there. It was a decent strike by Curta. Gold Coast Knights really only had, they probably had 2 really good chances. One was a deflection you'll see off this cross here. I'm pretty sure that was goal-bound without the block there. And then they had, obviously you'll see in the highlights package in a minute, they got their goal, but they've acquitted themselves really well. Melbourne Victory have had some joy down the far side of the field from our commentary position there. They've had a couple of long-distance shots, but they really didn't trouble the keeper at all. I think there's a bit of a sameness about the Melbourne Victory players. A little bit too much sideways and not enough penetrating balls from a couple of their midfielders. This is the goal. This is a fantastic header from Tapaldo. He moves really well. He looks a good athlete. He's had to do a lot of work off the ball defensively. He's worked really hard, but that's a fantastic header. He really made that his own. From the goalkeeping point of view, I'm not so sure that it was a great effort in goal by Tyson, but yeah, there was a lot of people in there, so it was difficult.
An absolute dream for Kai Tapaldo as we have a look at the half-time stats. Melbourne Victory dominating the shot count, however, both with the same on target. Also holding a majority of the possession. Gold Coast Knights playing tough, playing hard, and they come out on half-time with the advantage.
Yeah, they certainly haven't gone into it overawed. I mean, Scotty McDonald's in charge. He certainly would have got it into them that they're good enough to get a result here. They've got a lot of experienced players in their team that have, Mitch Nichols and that have been around this level. They'll tell the other players that haven't that you're good enough, get in there and show what you're about. They'll also see that this is not the prime Melbourne Victory starting 11. There's some younger guys and they'll think, we're good enough to win this, and they're certainly showing that in the way they've gone about things.
On the round of 16 of the FFA Cup, we've got plenty of more action to take to for the second half. We'll have to come back in just a moment with Throw 2 and goals of the FFA Cup so far. Pink shooting off the post. Another opportunity for Steinman. Looks to cut it back to Ivanovic. Gets on the score sheet. The debutant in behind here, winding up, putting it away.
Rossi is alongside. Tapaldo might not need him. It's all over.
Finding Farina, putting it away. Vickers takes the touch, settles himself, shoots, and what a strike.
Well over time to measure it in, and there is the opening goal. And a chance here, they've equalised.
Demi will stay on side and get in behind. He has Muljuznic inside of him and tucking it away. Decent link up. And now the strike, it is 2-0. And Lockie Scott makes it 3-0 for the Wollongong Wolves.
From long range, Steven Jugarkovic with an absolute thunderbolt. Pushing as far forward as we've seen him tonight. What a cracking strike! Get to the ball, he does, he keeps it in. Cut back for Duggan, equaliser for Port Melbourne. Bingham, they're lining up, Bosdugan, Bingham, winner!
Here's Atkinson now with the ball across, and there it is. O'Neill. Atkinson with the intricate flick. Oh, that's a special goal. And it's Benny and Palolo who scores. And now Noon and Lockie Rose. The goals are flowing.
Daniel Pena with the strike, and it is an absolute rocket. Now Parkhouse, whose shot is deflected, and it's in. Let's see what he can do here, because here comes Sydney FC. A great chance. Burgess. The run to the back post, it's well spotted. The header down, and it's goal number 3.
A little bit uneven and wobbly in places, which is why they're going to have a go. Oh! How about that? 38 seconds on the clock. This is going to be the captain of the Victory head, and Anasmo will scramble it over the line on the follow-up.
He takes this, drives it in, and this time they have the goal. Raphael Pucciarelli with a great ball in. Squeezes it, and the strike finally. Field up Benton. Ben Wayne is there. Now just getting it out is Romero. We don't go into extra time, but at the moment, Diaz spots Margos off his line. It's an absolute stunner.
Mercedes. Here's cross, dinking back post, the header, back across the face of goal. As Sydney come again, and Sydney have their second.
Well, how about that? What a first half here at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre. Brilliant performance from the Gold Coast Knights. They lead Melbourne Victory, the A-League opposition, 1-0. And we are back underway for the second half of this round of 16 clash. What do we have on our hands here for this second half? Is a cup set brewing? As the Federation side, Gold Coast Knights currently have the ascendancy over A-League opposition. Campbell Johnson taking you through all the action alongside Nick Meredith. Nick, what do the Victory have to do to get back into this one? And what do the Knights have to do to hang in there? Well,
the Victory certainly did need to do more with the possession they've got. They've had, you know, the majority possession, as you would expect, but they really haven't created a lot of chances. I'm getting more involved in this as I get older in the stats of football, and you've got to get the ball into certain areas, and they don't seem to, they're not doing that. So they're making it difficult on themselves to actually create scoring chances, and I think they need to be a lot more incisive when they're going forward.
There's the ball in now, punched away by Tyson. Nichols, what a hit that was. But a brilliant block from another experienced campaigner in Lee Broxham.
Yeah, that looked goal-bound. I think it was a few appeals for handball there. It's hard to see from where we are, but he certainly hit it well, Mitch. Jared Tyson came out with the fist. Yeah, he struck that real... No, it's come off Broxham's knees and that by the look of it, an excellent block.
Another one in. Knights knocking on the door to make it 2, but Tyson out to claim. Plenty to do.
I was having a think about this young Victory team at half-time, and they play in the Victorian NPL 3, which, that's not ideal. I mean, this is a good NPL side from Queensland, and they should be... The Melbourne Victory youth and the Raw youth up here play in the NPL. I don't... And so does Sydney FC. They play in the NPL, and so do Western Sydney.
They can't get relegated.
No.
Well,
you need the young players playing at the highest level of competition. I think that's something Football Victoria need to address. Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City, Western United, their youth teams, they must be playing in the highest competition they can. NPL 3's, that's pointless. They're playing games, but they're wasting games in a lot of ways. They need to be playing in NPL. I think that's something that needs to be addressed quickly in Victoria. Because when you actually sit back and think about it, the Gold Coast guys are used to playing at a higher level than a lot of these Melbourne Victory guys are.
So perhaps Victory have to meet the challenge all along, and they'll have to do plenty in this second half, this second stanza. It starts now. Nichols to Paldo. It must be said, the Melbourne Victory travelling or diasporic support here in the Gold Coast has been very vocal, and that comes as no surprise with the active support the Victory have in the A-League as well.
Yeah, they're the best fans in the league, and it just shows in the last month or so since they've been back on top, and
Paldo.
And looking a real force again. Just how enjoyable the games at Amy Park have been, and listening to those Melbourne Victory fans. Western Sydney, obviously, if they can get back on track, they're fantastic fans as well. But I think the Victory supporters have been the benchmark since the league started.
And in numbers too.
Yeah, fantastic numbers. I mean, they're very passionate. And, you know, they get very good numbers to a lot of their NPL games as well. I know Preston, who are in NPL 3, were getting 2,500, 3,000. So, look, there's some, obviously, great passion for the sport. And to see Victory need to be up the top for Australian football to be thriving. To see them back up where they belong, I think it's a good thing. And that's hard to say from someone in Queensland.
It is real football when you see the passionate supporters cheering on their team. Kurda. All the fans here at Croatian Sports Centre be enough. As Nichols giving away the foul on Ishak. As things stand, no changes at half-time. See Mitch Nichols just coming across and clipping him. I don't think any yellow cards given so far. I believe 8 fouls.
No, Chris Beath's handled it well. There hasn't been any real flash points or anything. He's handled the game well.
Barnett. He's looking for options ahead of him. Closed down, out wide now for the Victory, and certainly not the delivery they were hoping for. Leighton Brooks unable to chase that one down.
Yeah, the Gold Coast Knights will be happy with them getting out wide and just swinging in hopeful crosses. They've got a couple of big boys in the middle, so that shouldn't worry them at all. Victory have got to create something different than what they're doing now. The challenge for Gold Coast will be how long can sustain this tempo. They don't look to be struggling fitness-wise at all at the moment. I guess when you think about it, the NPL competition up here didn't finish till I think it was in November. They might have had a couple of weeks off, but they obviously knew they had this challenge up, so they've recruited, and these guys have probably kept their fitness levels up. So the gap may not be as bad as I initially thought it would, because they certainly don't look to be struggling physically at the moment.
If I've gathered anything from Scott McDonald and how he's been training the side, it's certainly haven't really had too much of a rest as Bramora now brought down. No foul given. Christian Bramora has looked very good so far in this one, especially his energy, pressing forward, putting pressure on the Victory back line. Lupale coming across there, able to head it, but it will be a throw-in. And the Melbourne Victory substitutes warming up. I wonder who will come on. Margiotta will most likely be the first name and first number. On fourth official, Alex King's board of substitutes. Martin
down, let's go,
able to find Bramora, the Victory fans, with plenty of banter in this one. You love to hear it. The Knights at the moment will have the last laugh. Well, that will be maintained. Time will tell. Tony Popovic's side will certainly have something to say about that. Belupale into Laurie Lattanzio, makes it 1-1. And we have a level game here at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre. The Victory bite back.
Yeah, it's the class on the field that showed out. Lovely little run by Lattanzio in behind. He's just playing in between the defenders there, made the lovely little run in behind, but it's the ball through to him that was the class. Just didn't pick it up on the replay there, but Robbie Cruz got his head up. Just got a little bit of extra time that quality gives you when you're on the ball. You see the ball played in there. Sorry, it wasn't Robbie Cruz. I've got that wrong. It was Valupale, so I got that completely wrong. Apologies. That's a fantastic ball through. He really lifted his head up and beautifully weighted pass, and that's an excellent finish. So Victory needed that one. They didn't want to let this drag on too long into the second half without a goal. So let's see what the Gold Coast Knights can do now.
We are level. Things are getting spicy here on the Gold Coast. Tony Popovic up and about.
I'm just looking from here now. Valupale and Robbie Cruz look almost identical, so it's no shock I made a mistake there.
Laurie Lattanzio is putting himself into the back of Austin Ludwig there. He's playing with a lot more confidence now, is the youngster. The Adelaide local. Nichols. Good hold-up play initially by Bramora, but I think Nichols won't mind me saying speed isn't exactly his strong suit at this stage as Brooks pauses. Blocked by Schmidt.
No, look, Mitch was never a flying machine, and as you get older, you certainly don't get any quicker. But the young boy at the back for Melbourne Victory played really well, the Panko. He gets himself in clever positions. Looked quite good on the ball. His passing forward is good. Nice size of a lad too, so he looks like he's a player.
Coming forward now for the corner as well. Looking to replicate Kai Tapaldo's goal in the first half up this same end. Kurta to deliver. The 19-year-old Headed away by the Knights. Valupale. Kurda. Now in again. And away by De Silva, who's looked strong on debut. Kurda once again. Players milling in the box. Back post. Down in the box. Scramble. Must be cleared and is by Martin.
They've got to be strong here for at least the next 5 or 10 minutes. Gold Coast Knight, what they don't want to do is give away. They've given away their lead. Now they don't want to fall behind. They don't want to be chasing the game. That's when your Melbourne Victory will look to pick them off with some runs in behind by these younger, quicker players up front. They just want to be strong here for the next 10, 15 minutes and make sure they're still in the game.
Lovely back heel from Valupale, but a strong challenge from Tyson Martin. Stops him dead in his tracks.
One thing about the Gold Coast Knights, they're working really hard and they're working as a unit. When the ball's on one side, they're pushing across. They've obviously been well drilled by Scott McDonald. They were, on paper, a good side up here in the NPL last year, but they were, don't want to use the word, but they were a lazy team to watch. They didn't work hard. He's obviously refreshed the squad, and it looks a hungry squad now, and they're working as a unit, and they're set up really well.
Fair bit of turmoil over the past 2 years for the Knights. They had Gray Pittock, a championship-winning coach, with them, led them to the championship in 2019. Following year, was sacked after a loss to Sunshine Coast Wanderers, who, at the time, were relegation fodder. Managed to stay up in the end. Adam Porridge, the head of football, then took over. We'll get back to that in a moment. As Valupale, the challenge coming in from Tapaudo. Valupale, how's this for footwork? Strike, handball not given there against De Silva. Natural position. And a player down in back play, it is Matt Schmidt. Tyson Martin able to clear. Matthew Schmidt still down.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. I didn't pick it up. I don't think he was the player that blocked the shot. Maybe he was, and it looked to me like he was holding an ankle. They can ill afford to lose him. They've had a bit of trouble down this side. He's been left isolated, not really through any fault of his own quite often, and they don't really want to have to reshuffle him.
Crucial to how they want to play, that is for sure. But for the Knights, had Adam Porridge, the former Sheffield Wednesday player, and then relieved himself of his duties, still at the club. Bringing in Max Ragg to finish off our most recent season, and now Scott McDonald coming in, a new dawn for the Knights, a new era.
It's interesting, just before we were talking about, I was waffling on about Melbourne Victory and that being in NPL 3. Well, our colleague Daniel McBreen just sent me a message. Newcastle Jets playing NPL 4.
Wow.
That's ridiculous. Where are all the good young Newcastle has developed a whole host of really talented young players. They shouldn't be playing in NPL 4. There's an NPL competition in Newcastle. You know, you've got the Edgeworths and that of the world. Get them in that competition. This is nonsense.
Those at the FFA listening.
Probably not.
Nick Meredith with the blueprint. Matthew Schmidt will come back on. He looks to be okay. He'll be wanting to give everything he can. Now 1 apiece. Just about 60 minutes in. Ishak unable to get past Kai Tapaudo. Broxham. Right, Lepanchu has looked assured at the back for the victory. Plays the ball over the top now. Only into the waiting arms of Josh Langdon. Lovely touch from Tapaudo. Brown. Schmidt back onto the field. Ingham has to get past Lepanchu. Does well The young centre half. Schmidt's touch letting him down, but Ingham able to find it. Real estate agent by day. Brooks. Laurie Latanzio.
Real estate agent on the Gold Coast. What do you drive in, a Bentley?
I think it was an Aston Martin.
Yeah,
actually.
probably.
Negro. Out wide. Latanzio. Kurda. Ishak winding up. Blocked well by Tyson Martin, the former Brisbane Raw youth product. Ball over the top. Martin reads it well, stops it in its tracks, and wins the foul off Robbie Cruz. It must be said, the Brisbane Raw only train about 500 metres away.
Yeah, across the road here. They train on the Gold Coast and play at Redcliffe, which is the best part of 2.5 hours away. Certainly not an ideal setup from the Raw for the Raw, but it is what it is. And at the moment, they train on the Gold Coast.
Da Silva heading it away strongly. Ingham now central. Brown blocked by Broxham, showing every ounce of his experience.
Yeah, he did well there. Lee Broxham came over and timed it well. Would have been a bit of controversy if they'd scored, because I'm pretty sure it was a handball in that phase of play there that got them through. But lovely little ball over the top, and Broxham just using all his experience. And yeah, he reads the game really well. He's played nearly every position on the field. And yeah, very timely challenge.
Obviously no VAR as well, and it did look like a little bit of a handball from Jai Ingham to Paldo. Knights waking back up, believing once again. Da Silva. Be a very talented centre half. Ludwig beaten by Brooks. Shoulder to shoulder, Brooks twisting, turning, putting it across the face. Tyson Martin able to meet it and turn it away. Kurda not over for the victory. Cruz, Barnett. They fluff their lines. Brooks here. Handball shouts from the victory players and travelling support. Ludwig. Bramora. Cleverly. The ball played over the top. Broxham not troubled.
Yeah, I think it was handball, actually. A bit fortunate to get away with that Gold Coast. Tyson Martin's done well in the second half, a new acquisition. Now, he played for Brisbane City earlier in the Cup, but I think there's been some dispensations for these guys to be allowed to play.
So the way it works is if you can only, the way you're cup tied at this stage, we know things are changing, end of the NPL seasons and Federation seasons. If you've played in the round of 32, you are not eligible for any other side. So if you played in qualifying, absolutely good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. And, it's a different world we live in at the moment, so that makes sense.
That was a question on a lot of people's brains, myself included, and clarified.
I obviously knew the answer. I just wanted to educate
testing me.
The public and that as well. Yeah.
Barnett. Cruz. Negro, the fullback, overlapping.
Stefan Negro, a disciple of Bradley Charles Stubbs, the coach whisperer. And if you've heard of the coach whisperer, look him up. Did an awful lot for Stefan Negro's career. Well known to people in the NRL and that in the northern states. A very interesting guy, and he's had a huge influence on Stefan Negro's career.
I'll have to have a look at that one later. Barnett. Kurda. Palupale. Kurda going down. Nichols winning it back. Bramora. Bit of attention from Broxham. Ingham, marked by Negro. Both players there. Former Brisbane Roar.
I was about to say, I think the Knights are going to go to their bench soon because they're just starting to look fatigued. They're sitting deeper and deeper, and it looks to me like Scott McDonald's going to bring himself on.
Certainly getting ready.
First thing you do as you get tired is just sit deeper and deeper, and they're taking a long time working their way up to halfway, getting out of defence now. They need some fresh legs, and they need a little bit of leadership on there, but I did notice Scott McDonald has almost been in his civvies all night. He's now getting himself changed, so he's going to come on. I'm not sure who else, but it looks like it could be a double change. They need some fresh legs. Yeah, they need some fresh legs, the Gold Coast.
Foul was given away, and Alex King, our fourth official, looking to get things ready. Scott McDonald wearing the number 12. He'll have a few words to his side.
He needs to find the right colour shorts too. He's still got blue shorts on, so that'll be interesting. Little effort getting
underneath. And
there
he's
you
done
go.
it. You can't put that on telly.
Jeez, that could have been embarrassing.
Jeez, Scott McDonald. Buy me a drink first.
Well played. Well played, Scotty McDonald. Interesting to see what changes he makes here. I think Jai Ingham would be the one I would bring off. He looks really fatigued to me. Maybe push someone else out wide in his space.
Looks like Margiotta also getting ready. Aleki Ingham as well, brother of Jai Ingham.
Yeah, it looks like Bramora looks to be heading over there as well. Maybe he's coming off, but I thought he could be a threat out wide as well. So interesting to see what he does here. But yeah, Jai Ingham would be the one for me. He looks to be physically struggling.
Fittipaldo leaving the field of play.
That's interesting. He was very good first half. He hasn't really seen as much of the ball second half. Maybe all that work he did in the first half has really left him with some tired legs.
Number 15, Clarence Halberg, replaced by number 14, Aleki Ingham.
Aleki Ingham on as well. Brother of Jai Ingham. Now, Scotty Mack on the pitch. Assured everyone he wasn't lacing up the boots this season. It may just be a cup appearance. It is an appearance nonetheless. Francesco Margiotta getting ready to come on, and the goal scorer, Rory Latanzio, coming off. So both goal scorers now off the field. And reinforcements coming on. Jai Ingham still on.
Margiotta will certainly pose a different threat to the Gold Coast Knights. He's an experienced player. They will certainly need to concentrate with him around. Starting to look a bit ragged, as that ball showed there from Langdon, but just looking a bit tired in the legs, particularly the back line are taking a long time getting up the field. So it'll be interesting to see what he can get out of them.
I think Langdon will want that one back as we kick on again, and it's getting lively here at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre, home of the Gold Coast Knights. 20 minutes to play. Valupale delivers all the way across. Looks like Jaden Walker now playing the left wing-back position.
Yeah, it looks like they've had a significant reshuffle, the Gold Coast. Haven't really seen them in... hasn't really been a break of play to see where they are actually set up, but it looks like he's come out to the left and Smith's gone into a more central role, and Young Ingham's out on the right-hand side. That looks to be how they've reshuffled things.
Potentially a front two as well with the front three. Ingham, McDonald.
Definitely a front through with McDonald up there now playing alongside Bramora to just give him support. Jai Ingham's pushed rather forward here. I think that's just a set play, so I think he's going to continue to play a bit deeper.
McDonald with his first involvement going down. One of Network 10's own. You can see him on Paramount Plus and Network 10's A-League coverage. The new home of Australian football, as Valupale has been very impressive today. Back inside, Margiotta with his first touch. Strike blocked. Brooks delivering again. They get a touch, they're able to clear it. Knights breathe once again. Not over for the victory. Kurda able to free himself. and the tension is rising. Still 1-1. Cup set still very much on the cards. But the victory building into this game. Negro just too far ahead of Robbie Cruz. Langdon to take the goal kick. They're able to beat Edge Hill. They're able to get ahead of the victory. Martin heading it down only into the path of Cruz, and Margiotta, is he onside? Takes the first time strike and straight into the waiting arms of Josh Langdon.
I reckon if he saw it on replay or he hadn't looked back at that Margiotta, the chip was really on. Langdon was a long way off his line. I hate to see the game stop because someone's got cramp. I mean, you can't top... The ball's been... Cramp's cramp. It's not life-threatening. You know, it's not a serious injury. It's because he physically is unable to continue because he's got a cramp. Let the game play on, and when the ball goes out, then you can attend to him. There's too much of this going on. I mean, it's quite easy for someone to say, oh, I'll just lie down and pretend I got cramp too. I just don't like it. Maybe it's old school, I don't know, but you just see it too often.
Lepanchu halting the counter-attack there. Nice, we're ready to spring. Gets back up, restores the electrolytes perhaps.
See, look at that. I mean, that's just... Gold Coast are on the breakaway. They've got the ball, and they're on halfway, they're attacking. They've got the advantage of a victory player unable to stand up and play the game.
Player down as well for Knights, looks like De Silva. The same, being stretched out by his gaffer and Bramora.
Part of football is as the game goes on, it becomes a war of attrition. You've got to athletically be able to compete, and if you can't actually physically run for a couple of minutes, well, in my opinion, bad luck. You haven't copped an injury through contact. It's just you're physically unable, and that sorts out the men from the boys and the better athletes from the not so great athletes at times. And I just think it's something that's crept into the game. I mean, the cramp was just play on, and I think it still should be.
And a reminder, the cup competition, we will have extra time if required. McDonald going down once again, getting the treatment from Ishak. And the attention, Margiotta, flag goes up on the near side. Chris Beath eventually halting play. De Silva. Lecky Ingham at right wing back. Schmidt now playing as part of the back 3/5. Walker. Ingham. Brown. Tyson coming out.
Oh, that was an opportunity. They've done so well down there. Just too much weight on that ball from Jai Ingham. Brown made a really incisive run in there. And if the ball was weighted well, he was on for a first-time shot. Just overhit by Jai Ingham. But that was a good opportunity.
Max Brown's such an exciting player to watch.
He's done really well. His work rate's been tremendous. He's the one picking up a lot of the loose scraps, and he's side to side. He's all over the place. And he's got some energy because he's worked hard, and he made an excellent run in behind the victory defence then. There's the run. These are the runs at this time of game when fatigue's starting to set in. You can see it. If you're a midfielder and you've got the engines to run beyond the defence, you can make some real good opportunities for yourself and your teammates.
He's got a track record of scoring goals. 11 goals in 2020, 13 in 2019. Can he get on the score sheet tonight? Crucial cog for the Knights. Cruz. Well met by De Silva, who goes down once again. He was stretching out the cramp just before. And does once again. Coming up from Victoria, perhaps not as game fresh as the boys from Queensland.
It's a fair point. A lot of those guys have missed a lot of football over the last 18 months to 2 years, but you can't hold the game up for this. He's a foot off the byline. Just roll him off and get on with it.
The Victory now with a chance. 15 minutes to play. Front post headed. Brooks puts it wide. And a credit to all the supporters for coming out here tonight.
Yeah, fantastic roll-up. It's certainly the biggest crowd I've seen at this venue, and it's one of my favourite venues in the LPL. It's a perfect little boutique stadium. I think they've got more development plans ahead as well. They've got a bit of room on the other side, as you can see. It's a super little venue, and it's great to see the crowd turn up.
May it continue. Brooks playing it down. Shouts for handball from the patrons, but not given by Chris Beath. McDonald looking to show his experience and class. By far the most experienced on the park today. Nichols. Brooks. They would get around Max Brown to Silva. Scott McDonald. Plenty of time in the UK. Plenty of caps for the Socceroos. And a cult hero at Celtic. McDonald unable to get past Kurda. And you wonder if you'll see Scott McDonald turning out in the NPL as well. I'm sure fans of the local game would love it. That's a beautiful ball from Brooks to Cruz. Unable to find him, and that's a sloppy challenge for Matt Schmidt, and he'll see yellow for his efforts. Just going in.
Yeah, you can't have any complaints there. Robbie Cruz got the better of him. Nice turn of speed Robbie Cruz has still got, and he's coming from behind him. There's no arguments there. It's a free kick and it's a yellow card. Get into the, we're half an hour into this. I mean, he's down again with cramp here. Now, less than a minute ago, he made a forward run. So if you've got cramp and you can't defend, don't make forward runs. I mean, if he goes down again, it's getting to the point of being ridiculous.
They do have a 16-year-old Roman Engel on the bench as well, defender. Very highly thought of by Scott McDonald. But Victory to deliver. Kurda, back post, all the way across. McDonald shoulder to shoulder and brought down by Lipanchu. And a little bit of pain here.
Yeah, that's probably a yellow card too for me. He's had no intention other than, he's a quality young player from what I've seen tonight, but he had no intention in just barrelling Scott McDonald over there, and I thought that was probably worthy of a yellow card as well.
Do you think for those experienced players, as we have another look here at the replay,
Tony was back
into the back?
I think one thing Tony Popovich will be disappointed is their delivery from set pieces. They've either overhit them or underhit them. They really haven't threatened the Gold Coast at all. They've had numerous chances. There's a bit of niggle going on there.
Lupanchu, Jayim stepping in and protecting his coach, his former side. Tempers flaring here at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre.
He's probably going to get himself a yellow card out of it. Jai did throw his hand out there. I don't know what that's all about.
Not what you need at this time of the game from Jai Ingham. He'll get a talking to from Chris Beath.
Not much in it, though. I mean, there's nothing too sinister or nasty about it. It was just an old bull talking to a young bull and telling him a few realistic things, or a few realities, I think. I don't think he was obviously too impressed with the challenge down the other end, but yeah, pretty well handled by Chris Beath.
No yellow card?
No yellow card. He maybe was a bit lucky not to get one, but yeah, it's not world-ending either way. Let's just get on with it.
See how that develops in this final 10 or so minutes.
Well, it's getting to the stage now.
Regulation.
It's getting to the stage now. If you can get a goal, you're almost into the next round.
Change here for the Knights. And Bhavan Atwal coming on. Former Brisbane Roar youth player, new signing as well, coming over, played with primarily in the 23s for the Brisbane Roar youth, in the NPL 23, so not in the first team a whole lot, primarily off the bench when he did play. He now gets a shot for the Knights. And Scott McDonald, Brooks. De Silva exiting the field as well. Across, strike from Argiotta. Kurta sets himself, shoots over the target. And knocking on the door.
He'll be disappointed with that, Kurta. He really needed to get on the target there. We get a little bit more rain again now. The surface will be nice and slick, and you've just got to hit the target. There's that's probably their best opportunity from inside. That's the area where you really need to get the ball in. That's where your goal scoring stats really go through the roof. If you can get into that area, and you've really got to hit the target. They're the opportunities. At this time of the game, there's only 10 minutes or so to go. That, gives you every chance of going into the next round. So a disappointing finish in that situation.
Have to have a look at the XG after this one. Expected goals.
Just on De Silva, I probably gave him a bit of stick for the cramp, which is not his fault. That's the referee for stopping the game. But I thought he was excellent. He looks like a really good acquisition for the Gold Coast. He said he's moved up here for work. That happens a lot in this area. But he looks like he's going to be a really good addition for them in defence.
Really showed his class so far. It'll be a welcomed addition for Scott McDonald. I'm sure he liked what he sees. Now Bubba Nutwell, the midfielder, in. Looks like he's playing in the right wing-back position so far.
I don't know if you heard that, Campbell. They just announced the crowd here was just under 2,500. So to all the Gold Coast people and the Melbourne Victory fans who are probably up here celebrating New Year's Eve and the like, fantastic effort, well done. As the rain just becomes a little bit heavier.
What a New Year's celebration that would be for the Knights if they can get up against A-League opposition. Under 10 minutes of regulation, you start thinking about extra time here. Schmidt does well. Bramora in front of him. Negro does well to track back. Lovely ball over to Brooks. Barnett can't pull it in. Looks like he's pulling up a little bit gingerly. Bramora, McDonald. Good ball out to Ingham. Just the move inside, can't get around Kurta.
I'm a bit surprised Melbourne Victory players getting cramped, to be honest. I mean, most of these guys are in almost a full-time environment, and it's certainly not a hot night. The conditions are very football friendly. It's probably, it's in the teens now, I'd say, and there's a breeze and there's some showers. I'm a bit surprised. I'm not surprised with the Gold Coast boys, but we're going to be here till sunrise will be on in the morning the way we're going. I mean, we'll see the sun come up.
You're right about the weather. Certainly not a steamy Queensland, humid night.
No, not at all. It's almost ideal football conditions. And I don't know, Chris B's got to get a handle on this. As I said, we'll be staring out as the sun comes up if we keep doing this. And there's obviously the possibility now of extra time. We're only probably 7 or 8 minutes away from that. Although there's going to be a hell of a lot of added time, you would think, with all these stoppages.
Ishak down. There will be plenty added on. And as the game goes on, the Victory fans get louder. The Croatian Knights fans start to sense a little bit of excitement.
A bit disappointing, the Knights fans, I've got to say. Haven't heard much of them.
Not as verbal.
No, the clubs with Croatian heritage in Sydney and Melbourne certainly make themselves heard. So come on, you Knights fans, do a little bit better than this. Maybe they're eating $10 chips.
I wouldn't be too enthused. There's Schmidt.
$4 for a can of Coke too. That was a bit steep.
Ingham unable to find out well.
Looks like Victory's got another couple of subs about to come on, some fresh legs.
Plenty of youngsters in the squad getting some game time, looking to prove themselves. They'll be given that chance. A good opportunity.
Both coaches now are probably thinking, well, there's a fair chance we're going to go to extra time. We're going to have to be careful with our subs and who we've got available. because physically players are tested now. When they get that extra time, they're going to really struggle, some of them.
We saw the Melbourne Victory draw their first game as Cruz trying to slide it past Langdon, who does really well to come out, close the angle, and stop the strike. Foul given against Barnett there.
A brilliant goalkeeping from Langdon there. I thought Cruz was odds on to score there, but came out so quickly and narrowed the angle and did an excellent job. He's done really well in goal tonight. She said he was one of the form keepers in the NPL up here, and just look how quickly he comes out and spreads himself there. Also some good work. I think it was Smith that came across as well that gave himself a knock. So desperation is what you need.
He's got hands on knees and substitutions for the Victory. William Wilson on the field, and I believe Zayden Bello filling it right back. Bello. Brooks. Locked well by Schmidt, who's had a stellar game for the Knights. And Victory sent their first game of the FFA Cup into stoppage time against Perth Glory, or into extra time, I should say, and eventually to a penalty shootout. Victorious in that one. Jared Tyson taking a penalty in it, spraying it wide, but saving one to win it. Will they have to repeat that here on the Gold Coast? Galupale has impressed Cruz. Galupale trying to get out of traffic, and Negro there to assist. Nichols giving away the foul on his opposite, number 16. We have another look on the replay. Knew what he was doing. Mitch Nichols.
Yeah, he did know what he's doing. He's racked up the fouls, Mitch. I don't think he's had a yellow card yet, has he? So he's probably got away with a few. He must be getting pretty close.
Atwell. McDonald. Looking to get more involved, dropping deeper. Storming through midfield. Out wide for Ingham. Can't track it down. And how about this for a lineup? Jai Ingham, Scott McDonald, Mitch Nichols. It's a good side for the Knights.
Yeah, they've certainly got some names. So I don't think Scotty McDonald's going to play much in the NPL this season. I think he'll concentrate on a coaching career. That's the path he wants to go down.
Mirza Maradovic coming onto the field. Christian Bramora exiting, who's played a really good game today. Will certainly excite Knights fans.
Yeah, he's done a good job. He's definitely a good athlete. He worked hard. Maradovic will be a different challenge for Melbourne Victory. He's almost a polar opposite of the player he's replacing. He's more in and around the box. He's got quick feet. He's quite creative, as we saw with the Raw and when he first came in, and then he moved on and went to Wellington, I believe it was, and he's quite clever in and around the box. So you don't want to, as players get tired and mental fatigue comes into it as well, and you just give a player an extra half a yard or a yard, he's certainly one that could take advantage of it. Like to see the ball, get the ball into his feet as much as possible.
Former Brisbane Raw and Wellington Phoenix player was with the Knicks last year as Valupale in an acre of space here, an absolute paddock. Opening things up, met well by Bhavan Atwal. McDonald trying to go down the line for Mirza Maradovic. Can't find him. Things perhaps not working out for Mirza Maradovic at the Brisbane Roar or the Wellington Phoenix, but he gets a shot here for the Knights. Nichols. Walker making a good run in space on the far side. McDonald. Ingham, in fact. Maradovic. Walker in that space. Inside Maradovic, the substitute on debut into Walker. And it goes begging.
Oh, what an opportunity, and that's just what I mentioned Maradovic. That's what you want to do. Get the ball into his feet. Don't dive in at him, because he's creative, and he picked out lovely little pass there, and if he just slowed himself down, the ball got stuck under his feet. Really clever from Mijatovic, and it was a great opportunity. Gets it down, rolls it into the far post, game over. That was a great chance.
Ooh, big challenge on the far side, big contact, hands in arms. Tyson Martin and Velupale colliding. Martin sees yellow.
Yeah, it was a tired challenge. Committed himself to go for it and realised he wasn't going to get there, and he certainly wasn't going to chase. But that an excellent second half. Tyson Martin, a guy that we mentioned earlier, really needs to reboot his career, but on the showing he's made here today, particularly defensively, hasn't got forward at all, but he's been resolute in defence in the second half when the Gold Coast have needed him.
Tyson Martin scored in the FQPL Grand Final to beat Southwest Queensland Thunder. And AJ Kelly Park had a great celebration as well. Going to the corner flag.
Certainly looks like the Victory staff are not happy at all with this challenge. Tony Popovich talking to Chris Spieth and Alex King, the worst job in football, the fourth official. You cop it from everyone when you got that job, which makes no sense because you can't change anything. But
you're not making the calls either.
Oh, mate, that's the worst job in football, being fourth official. But yeah, Tony Popovich and his staff certainly weren't happy with that challenge.
Do not envy him. His partner's in attendance as well. Nadine Keese plays in the NPLW here in Queensland, played for Olympic this year. Recently signed for Gold Coast United.
Didn't know that.
Fun fact for you.
Yeah, fun fact.
I see they live just at Tweed. We are back underway, round of 16. Football here for the FFA Cup. Gold Coast Knights hosting Melbourne Victory. Wilson. Chance for Margiotta, brilliant save by Langdon. And that's got the Croatian fans up on their feet.
Excellent save by Langdon. He's had a really good second half in particular, made a couple of crucial saves now. These are the areas the Victory need to get the ball in. They got fortunate, it was a deflection, but Margiotta there, he's shown in a few games already. He doesn't need much opportunity to get a shot in, and that was excellent save there from Langdon.
That is top shelf from Langdon. Kerdar, front post, headed away. Roxham, Velupale, delivering. Langdon out to claim, takes it. Chest mark for the goalkeeper. We're not far from Metricon either, the home of the Gold Coast Suns. And that is full-time regulation. Just 4 minutes added on, and we will be going to extra time. A war of attrition here. Regulation ends a goal apiece. And how do both sides get ahead of the other here?
On the soapbox again here, I'd love to see the FFA Cup go straight to penalties in these situations. I think the extra time, we all love a cup set and making it as, you know, not difficult for the A-League club, but to give the NPL clubs and the lower division clubs an opportunity. And this is going to make it really hard on them. And, you know, another period of football, whereas I think if we went straight to penalties, you know, especially in that last 10 minutes of the game, you'd really see people trying to get a winner. So, but anyway, look, we've got, you know, a period of extra time now, and I'm amazed at how many Victory players are struggling physically. I've found that quite surprising. Not surprised at all with the Gold Coast there in their off-season, but they're holding up pretty well physically. Just a little bit of qualities now is going to win it. And so who are the quality players on the field? Obviously, Mijatovic has come on. He's looked sharp around the box already with Scotty McDonald up there. And for the Victory, you've still got Robbie Cruz, Margiotta. And I must say, there's a young fella that's come on that I know, my ignorance, I know nothing about. Zayden Bello that's come on and played on the right back here. But, man, he is a good mover. Many of my Victorian friends want to tell me about him. He looks like he can really play. This was a good period for Gold Coast Knights. Here's an excellent volley from Mitch Nichols, really well blocked by Lee Broxham. The technique in modern football, you've got to get your hands out the way. He got down and made himself big.
Have a look at the second half highlights, I should say. Ball played in. This was a crucial one. Able to get back in the game. The ball from Velupale, sublime. Latanzio able to tuck it away, level things.
Yeah, excellent goal. One of my commentary highlights there, getting the wrong player again, so that'll go down well. But yeah, look, it was an excellent finish, Robbie Cruz. didn't get involved, which I said he did. So, but this was a really good opportunity here for the Gold Coast Knights. Excellent ball through. Just Lee Broxham showing his experience, got across there. And there's been a few tasty challenges, but well, nothing too malicious. It's just been a good, hard-fought game of football. I think you see on the replay there, if Margiotta would just dink that ball over the top of Langdon, he was a long way off his line. Yeah, it's just another challenge there. This is the opportunity I think Victory will really should have scored there. He's certainly got to hit the target on a slippery. This was the chance for the Gold Coast Knights in the last few minutes. Muradovic with his clever feet and vision around the box, and he played him in a lovely ball. And just in the last few minutes, we saw Langdon with a strong hand push across the shot from Margiotta. But look, it's pretty even. Victory seem to be getting them better with the chances now. But look, if the Gold Coast can nab a goal, then the pressure really comes back on. I'm not so sure physically what they've got left, but we'll certainly see in this first period of extra time.
And the Victory have certainly built back into the game. They were behind the 8 ball, obviously, on the scorecard, but also in the general games play. But the second half had a lot more for them. Yeah, they created more opportunities. They got the ball into better areas. Some of the balance of their midfield, there seems to be a little bit of sameness about it. Barnett and that in midfield, they will look a little bit similar to me, but look, they've worked hard. They're young guys. They're trying to make their way, but yeah, there's a little bit of sameness about them, but they've just had that little bit of quality with the ball that was played in for the goal, and that's got them back into it. Fortunately for them, they got it quite early in the second half. I think if it would have gone on another 10 or 15 minutes, then the Gold Coast really would have grown in confidence, and would have made it very difficult for them. But look, let's see what they've got to offer in this extra time period. Well, mammoth task for both sides here as we're back underway in round of 16 of the FFA Cup. Gold Coast Knights hosting A-League opposition in the Melbourne Victory, top of the A-League at current. And we are into extra time, first half. This is exactly what you want to see, a lovely touch from Margiotta, Robbie Cruz. Margiotta forced out wide by Atwal. Velupale. Certainly had a good run today. Velupale across the face into the side netting. And it will be a corner. I think it'll be Tony Popovich when they do a video analysis game. There'll be a lot of coaching material there for when they're getting into these positions near the byline and the Gold Coast. Now, they're almost all the time drilling the ball at the near post. Someone needs to get their head up and look. There was a player completely unmarked near the penalty spot and things like that. You've got to get your head up in those situations. Broxham with the strike. Deflected and off the post. Does not get closer than that. The flag's gone up. And an offside called. We have a look here. Headed away. Sat up. Broxham with the strike. And came off. Believes Aiden Bello there, and it was Brooks, in fact. Yeah, it wouldn't have counted, but Lee Broxham not known for his goal scoring. That was an excellent technique. He hit that well, but would have all been to no avail if it had gone inside that post. A slight heart attack for the Knights. There they wake up. Here in extra time. So much to do for them, for both sides. Not too many outfield players left on the bench. The war of attrition begins as the Knights go on their crusade to slay the Giants in Melbourne Victory. Cruz lets it run. Margiotta, Langdon, sensational. He's been top shelf today. He did very good coming off his line. He's read the play well. I love a little bit of play there by Victory with Cruz and Margiotta, but very quick to react there, Langdon. A little bit of a slippery surface probably helped him. It just skidded on a little bit more than what the Victory boys expected. Lupanchu. Tell you what, I've got another complaint. There's some bloke down here having a cigarette, and tell you what, I can smell is that. It's not great. All these grounds were non-smoking venues nowadays. Thought so too. I'll find him. 1980s stuff here at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre. It's a young girl vaping. There you go. Jeez. Have a load of that. It is the Gold Coast. Margiotta setting himself up, striking into the arms of Langdon. We'll have a look at the replay here. Margiotta.
He's shown some quality since he's come on, hasn't he? I think that's 2 or 3 good, challenges to the keeper and shots he's got in now. He gets into the right areas for sure.
Walker doing well on Brooks. Martin. Good ball into Walker in a more advanced position now. Nichols. McDonald inside of him. They have Atwell out wide. McDonald tries to play it forward. Met well by Wilson. Headed down by Margiotta. We've seen that a few times now. It's brilliant from the Italian as Cruz storming forward. Nichols, we've said a few times that he's testing his luck, and he gets yellow on that occasion.
I'd say, and that was pretty cynical on Robbie Cruz. I'm not sure he really needs to do it. It looked like Tyson Martin had good positions. Probably an unwarranted free kick, really. I don't think... He's starting to look a bit weary, I've got to say, Mitch Nichols, and that's the sort of thing you do when you're getting fatigued.
95+ minutes of football so far in this one. Kurda standing over it. We saw him take one earlier. Get close. Looks to be in a more area of delivery. Headed away by Martin. Cruz blocked by Brown. Back for the victory. Strike from Wilson. Bello. Wilson outside of the butte. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a good finish from the young man, but Joe back to the set piece, and it's a terrible header by Tyson Martin. The one thing you don't do as a central defender or defender in your own box is head the ball down and into a central position. That's his job. He's got to head that high and away, but he's headed straight down to the edge of the box. A little bit of to and fro in possession, and the young guy with a fantastic finish was in the moment he hit it. But, Tyson Martin, you've got to be disappointed with that. Look, he's had a really, really good second half, and it's hard to put too much blame on him. But you just watch here, it's a little bit before that, but the ball gets rolled out here, and it's an excellent strike. He's hit it with the outside of the foot, got a lovely bit of tailored in the top corner, and Langdon had no opportunity there at all.
William Wilson. Take a bow, young man.
But that's what happens when you're fatigued. It's come from a little bit of, a silly free kick given away, a poor defensive header, and then you give a quality player an opportunity, and he makes the most of it.
The score of the victory, number 32,
The victory now with the ascendancy, showing their class, despite plenty of youngsters being out there. Margiotta, Bello, in the box, dancing around. Cleared by Alecki Ingham. Bello. Wilson running on. He's grown a foot since that strike. Beautiful outside of the boot. Negro. Velupale. Velupale deflected wide. A brilliant hit. He's been a different gravy today. As Nishan Velupale sets up. Goes wide off the deflection.
Yeah, we've seen him make an impact in the A-League. He looks a promising player, and he certainly hit that well, and he's set up the equaliser, so he's definitely had an impact on the game.
Kurda. Front post claimed by Langdon off a bobble. Perhaps thought Brown was going to clear. Landed in his lap.
I'll give the benefit of the doubt there and say he called for it, but it did look a little bit like it was almost a disaster.
And now the Knights have to throw absolutely everything at this one. Lovely from McDonald. Brown's able to get a touch on it and send it wide. Walker, Ingham. Going wide. Bello marking him. Nichols buys himself some time. Nichols inside, gets the return ball from Maradovic and stumbles over there. Does Mitch Nichols the switch here from Schmidt. McDonald. Tyson collects.
Tyson got very lucky there. Scotty McDonald's obviously not the tallest player, but he made a good leap and a good challenge. And Jared Tyson loved the commitment to come and get it, but if a goalkeeper, you've really got to claim that. You don't want to be getting any sort of knockdowns like that. He got a little bit lucky.
Good opportunity for the Knights. Player coach Scott McDonald urging his side forward, leading from the front. Do not go anywhere. This game's got plenty of juice in it. Ingham. McDonald going in, winning. Trying to get out of a phone booth. Can't manage though. Martin unable to get the touch on it. Margiotta. Now silence at Croatian Sports Centre. Bello rising. And always was. But a good hit nonetheless.
Yeah, it's worth a try. You know, obviously he's got to get his head over that and certainly get his knee over the ball. Technique wasn't ideal, but look, he's certainly within range. And gee, he looks at talent to me. He certainly moves really well. As I said before, I don't know anything about him, but certainly looks like he can play a bit.
Played for Green Gully prior to his time at Melbourne Victory, the 19-year-old. Zayden Bello, Filupile on the far side. Just down, getting a little bit of attention from the physio. Plenty of football being played here. Time wearing down the players. As expected, Langdon. Wilson, glancing header. Brooks. Running and running and running. Wilson. Bello. Cuts to the byline, delivers. Back stick, Atwell heading it away. Cruz out wide. Continues his run. Has Atwell marking him well, and this is a good run here from Filupile back on the park. Blocked well. Maradovic getting back, does well to get away from the oncoming Negro, wins the foul. Off the fullback.
Yeah, it's a silly foul there from Stefan Negro's going nowhere. The Gold Coast are struggling to get out of their own third at the moment. You just don't want to foul them there. You want to make them really play their way out.
Tyson Martin almost giving away possession there. Can count his lucky stars. Cruz. Victory slowing things down here. They've still got plenty of time to play. Nichols out of danger. Brown sends it long. Broxham on the chest. Still in play, not in the end. Not long to play in this first half of extra time. Martin has Atwell on the right. McDonald, Maradovic. Reverse pass, McDonald. Just getting a little bit too far under it.
Yeah, he did.
Over the target.
He did, and he also had the opportunity to play in the overlapping fullback here, and a bit of a wasted opportunity, but clever interplay between McDonald and Maradovic. You can't really see it on the picture there, but just to his left, just see him come into the picture there. He had Walker, who'd made an excellent overlapping run. I don't know. I'd like to see how many kilometres he's covered tonight, but could have really, they really had opened up the Melbourne Victory defence.
Someone get that man Strava up. Certainly getting his 10,000 steps for the day. Jaden Walker. Tyson. Well, McDonald holding things up well, going to ground, still holding on to possession and winning the foul. After all, Ingham inside, Maradovic has looked good dropping in. McDonald cleared by Lupanchu. McDonald able to get a touch on it, but just putting it into the path of Velupale. Has Cruz with the overlap. Margiotta on the other side. Margiotta sets himself up, dinks one inside. Strikes, finds its way to Robbie Cruz, who would have been offside.
That was the last thing Robbie Cruz wanted. He
got nutmegged.
He's just about exhausted. He had his hands on his knees, and Margiotta mishits a volley straight at him. That's one positive for Melbourne. Well, they're in front, Melbourne victory. Another positive, they're going to get 120 minutes into Robbie Cruz's legs, so that'll be something that they'll be pleased about.
Scott McDonald wearing one. He's played plenty of tough football in Scotland. Almost considers himself a Pom.
Scots are not Poms.
Correct.
Geez, you'll get some hate
in the
mail.
UK.
You'll get some hate mail over that.
Regardless, he was celebrating and watching the cricket with them at the Gabba. In there with the Barmy Army. Tyson under pressure. Nichols.
There'll be a minimum of 1 minute of time added on.
Scott McDonald was in with the Barmy Army, was he?
Correct.
That's disgraceful.
Have a word.
Oh, that's terrible. Shouldn't have that. He should be marked down as a foreign player now.
Visa.
Yeah, visa player.
Time added on. Here for the first half of extra time. Things slowing down the tempo. Settling a little bit. Energy being sucked out of the legs of the players.
Yeah, they're not going to get anything out of just hoofing balls in like that at the Gold Coast. They've got two diminutive guys up front there in McDonald and Maradovic, and they've shown already that if you can play the ball into their feet, they're going to create an opportunity. So that's the way for the Gold Coast to get themselves back into the game.
That is half-time. The first half of extra time here at Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre. As Gold Coast Knights trail Melbourne victory 2-1, 1-2. Plenty to do for the NPL side. How do they get back into this one, Nick Meredith?
Well, as I said, they've just got to try and get the ball into the feet of the two guys up front as much as they can. Jai Ingham, I give him credit. I thought he would last half an hour. He didn't look to be in match condition, but he's kept grinding away and he's providing an outlet for them. But just try and keep that ball into the front two as much as they can. Tony Popovic, I was just watching as the victory came off, and he was not happy at all. He was really drilling into a couple of the young players that he wasn't pleased. And look, Tony sets a very high standard, great attention to detail, and if you're not doing it, then he's going to let you know. And Scott McDonald on the same side for the Gold Coast, obviously he's setting fairly high standards for them, and you can see players are certainly aware of their jobs. Now I'd imagine he'd be saying, get the ball into me, get the ball into Mertzer, and then support Office and see what we can do that way. Just hoofing a ball in or knocking crosses in, that's not the go with these two up front. You've really got to think about what you're doing. Let's set the highlights there from that first half extra time. Great hit from Lee Broxham, and Margiotta, who's looked a little bit of a class above when he's come on up front, particularly he's created opportunities. He's not a super athlete or anything, but he's very clever. And this was the goal, came from, I thought it was a defensive error from the Gold Coast, but take nothing away from the young fella. That's a great strike. It was in the moment he hit it. He knew exactly what it was going to do. Perfect technique, and that's given him the lead.
We are back underway. Second half of extra time. Melbourne victory currently lead 2-1. Plenty to do for the Knights. Both coaches animated throughout. One of them out on the park in Scott McDonald. Margiotta, the Italian. Schmidt able to clear. And sending it for the way to Dreamworld. It will be a throw-in for the victory. And this is a true test of both sides. McDonald, two veterans, Broxham, McDonald, give each other plenty of attention there. Bello, smart ball into Valupalo, gets in front of Lecky Ingham. Negro going down off the contact from Bava and Atwal. Perhaps a touch soft, but a foul.
Yeah, just a tad late. There's not much in it.
Have another look. Well, just a touch late.
Yeah, just his first touch got him in trouble there. That's where it came from.
Bello continuing his run. Margiotta being a good creator for this side at the moment. Still getting in good areas. Wins the ball back high. As Brooks running on. Kerda. Nichols. Back inside, McDonald. Ingham. See Jai Ingham. Came through with Olympic in Brisbane. Before making his breakthrough with the Raw. He's back on the ball now. Plays the ball inside. Crossed in.
There's a good ball. He just needed someone to attack it there. But, you know, as people get more fatigue, you're less likely to get it. Just on Jai. I mean, he was pretty unlucky. I think the Raw should have picked him up earlier, 2 or 3 years before he got his opportunity. He was a standout up here in the NPL competition. And, yeah, I think he was unfortunate not to get his opportunity and had more opportunities than what he's had.
Perhaps the Raw learning slightly from their mistakes by recruiting the skills of Jez Lofthouse and Co to help out with this A-League season. Obviously not going to plan at the moment.
No, and he's another one that, yeah, personally, I think he should have been in their squad for a couple of years now. Just in the brief time we've seen him so far, he's looked to be a really good addition to their squad. He just offers something that not many players do. Not many players now want to get the ball, turn and run at players and that sort of thing. And Jez does that. He's a great addition. Even if you just use him for the last half-hour games, he's something different, and we need to encourage players like that.
Extremely talented young forward is Jez Lofthouse. Be able to see him progress in the Isuzu Ute A-League. Paramount Plus. Network 10. And now a substitution for Gold Coast Knights. Coming onto the field. Number 25, Luke Beckwith, was on the bench for their last FFA Cup clash against Edge Hill United up in Cairns. And unable to continue is Jaden Walker going off with cramp. He's been sensational all game long. We mentioned before about the grass he's covered. Atwal going down after some contact. Not given. Valupale. Nichols. Now a chance for the Knights. Nichols. Atwal back in the box across the face. Put wide by Broxham. Hands on heads for the Knights.
What about Lee Broxham? What a professionally. When he first came into the league, people thought he might hang around for a few games. He's just been absolutely faultless here tonight.
Brown with the strike only into the Victory defender.
He's probably prevented 2 goals just by his positioning and his desperation to get there. And if anyone young player wants to see what determination and professionalism can get you, Lee Broxton's the example. He's played, you know, best part of 350 games for the club, and he's just played every position just about that the club's needed. Whenever you name a squad, Lee Broxton's going to be in it, because if you've got 3 or 4 injuries or whatever, he'll fill that spot. Never complains, just gets on with it. I think he's a perfect example for young players. He had a fantastic career, and I'm sure when he first came in, no one thought this was the career Lee Broxton was going to have.
When he came into the side back in 2006, is when he made his debut. The first player to amass over 300 appearances for the club. Now over 400 in all competitions. An absolute warrior utility.
Absolutely, and he certainly wasn't the most popular player with Victory fans when he came in, but I'm sure he's won them over now just by his performances. He gives absolutely everything, you know, no matter what he's asked to do.
I think it's fair to say he'd be in the Hall of Fame for the Victory. Brown. Ingham. Has Schmidt looking to deliver. McDonald rising into the defender in Negro. Ingham. Now the Knights. Starting to click here in these final half of extra time. Nichols, back stick, Beckwith rising, heading into the back of Negro, who is down, surged forward and crashed in to the defender.
He certainly crashed in. Lovely ball by Mitch Nichols. That's a perfect little ball, just hung up in the air and come and attack me, but he was certainly late, and that was, yeah, it's clearly a free kick, and probably he's lucky that's all he got. But clever ball by Mitch Nichols, and just that little quality at the end there, that's what they need.
Valupale. Lovely ball in for Margiotta if he stays onside. 1-on-1. Misses the target. Does Margiotta. Much to the delight of the Knights fans. And a change for the Victory as we have another look. Another sensational ball from Valupale. That's 2 now.
Yeah, he's
at the very least.
Absolutely. He's physically spent, Valupale. He's had cramp a couple of times, but his quality of pass and his selection of pass has been excellent. And, you know, if the Victory don't get out of this with a win, that's the moment they'll look back and think, what if? Because Margiotta, you would back him to score there. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, but just rolled it wide of the post. But, yeah, look, 9 times out of 10, you'd have expected him to score.
Leighton Brooks, the local lad, leaves the field of play. Thomas Lambiris replacing him. Beckwith manages to take a touch, just a little bit too far ahead of himself. Wilson, the decider in this game. Moving things forward, and Victory stumbling. Martin. Nichols. Schmidt lets it run. Ingham dropping a little bit deeper to create. Lovely ball back for Nichols. Over the top and way over. Scott McDonald. Pressing Jared Tyson. Wilson tries to thread it forward for Lambiris. Can't find him. Lovely from Kerdar. Continues his run. Margiotta trying to find him, but he will be offside. Made a good run, just mistimed.
Yeah, a bit unlucky there. It was a nice passage of play. And just on the young guy that scored the goal, Wilson, he's added something to Melbourne Victory. Every time he gets the ball, he's looking to play forward. He's trying to threaten Gold Coast all the time. You need to have someone like that in your midfield. You just don't want sideways. You need someone who wants to be incisive with a pass, and he's certainly looked to do that on a lot of occasions.
Going down Big challenge there from Bello on Jai Ingham. Foul given.
Yeah.
Have another look on the replay.
It's clever by joining him there. He didn't, not really sure he was going to go, but he's got his body across and made the young fella foul him there. So an old head there. He knew that physically he probably wasn't going to get there, but he just got his body in a position that forced the young fella to foul him.
A reminder that the winner of this matchup will advance to the quarterfinal and face Adelaide United. Jai Ingham to deliver on target, just wide. And your heart breaks for Gold Coast Knights. Another close opportunity for them.
Yeah, super ball in from Jai Ingham. That's a nightmare for a defender. He's really whipped it in with some pace. It's probably bounced 2 or 3 yards out from the Gold Coast, from the Melbourne victory goal there. He just needed someone to get on the end of it. And must have got close to it there. I think it was Brown that was launching at the far post. I might be wrong, but he got pretty close to it. So fantastic ball in. A couple of deliveries from Jai Ingham have been top shelf.
It's not what you'd expect from that position as well. A direct shot. I think perhaps lofting it into the box for some tall timber. Sent long. Atwell. Good touch. McDonald. Muratovic. Trying to go outside of the boot. Hits it square. And goes almost not for a victory throw-in, but for a Knights one. And does eventually. I think Tony Popovich was going, are your eyes painted on, Chris?
I think he was going to get away with that till the victory protested.
Eventually called in the end, as is a foul. Victory edging ever so closer to the quarterfinals of the FFA Cup. Well, managed to get across. Last touch off him. The 2 goals of victory, the only 2 goals Gold Coast Knights have conceded in this year's edition of the FFA Cup, which carries a raised importance as Margiotta out wide, Lambiris, Bello continuing. The winner of the FFA Cup granted entrance into the Asian Cup. Lambiris, diminutive forward. Cruz. Reminder of the journey the Knights have gone on. They beat Taringa Rovers 2-0 as they break here. Eastern Suburbs 5 goals zip as Martin collapsing in cramp. Not called up by Chris Beath for Lupalate. Ingham with the intervention.
I think Tyson Martin's gone the full body cramp.
I think he has indeed.
Anything that's moving is his head and his arms.
He was playing dead.
He was playing dead.
So the path to the round of 16 for the Knights. Taringa Rovers 2-0. Eastern Suburbs 5-0. Holland Park Hawks another 5-0 victory. And then beat Sunshine Coast Wanderers 4-0 for eventually in the round of 32.
I take it you're laughing at Tyson Martin, who actually can't move. You see there in your picture there, number 4. He's not moved for 2 minutes.
He's now standing. You can see him centre of frame.
I've got to say that either way, you've got to do something. You can't just stand there.
If I was Scott McDonald, I would certainly not be happy as a ball now hits the post off the back of Langdon. Off the line eventually. A scramble And how did Valupale miss that one?
Well, they've certainly had a couple of chances to put the tie beyond doubt.
Martin still static in the middle of the park. Surely you have to move forward, Tyson. Your side's surging forward here. Ingham, McDonald with a chance. Nichols, Beckwith, across the face into the body of Negro. Tyson Martin hobbling into the box.
I think someone hit his pause button and they've just gone past him now and hit play again, but yeah, I'm not so keen on that. You've got to make some effort to get back and defend.
Every player now forward.
Still don't know how they didn't score there.
Langdon in the box. Nichols, reverse pass for Schmidt.
Oh, good
to
ball.
The back post, headed down. Is it put away? Oh, it's Maranovic with the last kick of the game. You could not write it. Sending it into a different postcode in a goal mouth scramble. And an absolutely valiant effort from the Gold Coast Knights. They're unable to slay the giants that are Melbourne Victory, and their crusade through the FFA Cup comes to an end.
It's like a scene out of Dunkirk here. There's players down everywhere. There's a bit of verbal going on. Mitch Nichols and Stefan Negro. I don't think the Victory are overly impressed with what happened on the set piece at the end there. I'm not really sure, but I think Lee Broxham might have got cleaned up and Jared Tyson as well. But I think it was Tyson Martin that actually had the opportunity with the header, and it was an excellent ball that was knocked in. As soon as he knocked it, I thought this is a goal-scoring opportunity. And well, they threw everything at it, Gold Coast Knights. They can be really proud of their effort. Some of the Melbourne Victory youngsters did well. Some would be, I think, a little bit disappointed in their performance, but some certainly enhance their prospects moving forward. A little bit of extra quality from Victory when it counted. They probably should have put the tie away a little bit earlier with those 2 golden chances in extra time, but I would like to see it go to penalties myself, straight away to give the semi-professional team more of an opportunity. But fantastic effort from Scott McDonald's boys. I'm sure they'll be really pleased, and when they sit and think about it in the cold hard light of day, with how well they went.
Well, they can certainly hold their heads up high, can the Gold Coast Knights. A fantastic performance from the boys from the Gold Coast. They are unable to get the result. Melbourne Victory able to advance to the quarterfinal and take on Adelaide United. They get a win in extra time, 2-1.